Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 268 of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I'm your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. Today's episode is basically going to be pretty simple. We're going to go over the NBA draft recap, trades, plus some free agency signings, along with an NBA hiring plus one NHL hiring. And that, we're going to get to it. So first, let's do a quick of the draft recap. So first of all, we have the Washington Wizards, who drafted first overall, and they selected starting forward AJ Dybantsa from BYU. Then we had the Utah Jazz draft shooting guard Darian Pedersen from Kansas. At third, we had the Memphis Grizzlies select power forward Cameron Boozer from Duke. Not gonna lie, I'm very interested to see how he will do with the Grizzlies. At number 4, Chicago Bulls, they take power forward Caleb Wilson from North Carolina. And, as a Bulls fan, I'm actually excited to see how this era will go, especially with some of the recent drafts from North Carolina going from Kobe White to Michael Jordan. That'll be really cool to see. Next, the Los Angeles Clippers have selected shooting guard Keaton Wagler from Illinois with the 5th overall pick. With the 6th overall pick, the Brooklyn Nets have selected power guard Michael Brown Jr. from Louisville. Then at number 7, the Sacramento Kings select power guard Darius Akuf. I apologize if I said it wrong, from Arkansas. At number 8, the Atlanta Hawks select Kingston Flemings, power guard from Houston, the 8th overall pick. And then with the 9th overall pick, the Dallas Mavericks select power forward Morez Johnson Jr. from Michigan. And last but not least, with the 10th overall pick, the Milwaukee Bucks selected Braden Burries, a shooting guard from Arizona. So these are all going to be really interesting picks, and we'll see how they'll do. Now, let's go to the trades. So why don't we start off with one of the biggest NBA trades that has actually happened this past week? The Miami Heat have acquired Giannis Antetokounmpo from the Milwaukee Bucks, along with forward Bobby Portis. And in exchange, the Heat are going to trade Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, James Jaquez, Karsbaz Jakunas, 3 first-round picks, including, obviously, it was the number 13 pick and a second-round pick. So that's being said. So let's go from the Bucks standpoint of view. Obviously, we all know trading Giannis was going to happen. It was just a matter of when and what team. And to be honest, after last season, he basically kind of alerted the Bucks that it was time that they moved on after 13 seasons together. Yes, Giannis was a Buck for 13 seasons. And getting Tyler Hero, I think he's going to be really interesting to watch in Milwaukee. With the play style that he really carried with Miami, how is that going to transfer to in Milwaukee? And will he even be a Buck, or will the Bucks trade him? Now, as for Kelware, nice center James Jaquez, I believe he's their 20-year-old shooting guard, and will be an interesting one. And let's see how the Bucks develop him. And as for Kaspras Giannakis, big center. Yeah, I think they'll do fine. So Milwaukee basically gets younger players that'll help them now, because Milwaukee has basically been stuck in mediocre ever since winning the NBA championship back in 2021. Now, as for the Miami Heat, this is huge, especially for Pat Riley, head coach there. And seeing Giannis in Miami is going to be really interesting. And I'm very curious to see how him and Bam Adebayo will do together. And the Miami Heat are one team we should all keep an eye on, especially for free agency, because I want to see what more moves will the Heat make, and could they potentially contend with, let's say, the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics in their division. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, for another trade to talk about, LaMelo Ball. Oh man, I can't believe it. LaMelo Ball going to the Minnesota Timberwolves from the Charlotte Hornets. So the Timberwolves have acquired him along with shooting guard Josh Green in exchange for power forward Naz Reid, a future first-round pick, don't know what year, by the way, 3 first-round pick swaps, 3 second-round picks. So, from the Hornets' point of view, I'm a little confused on their thought process. Naz Reid, sure, really nice player, but will he be the big piece that Charlotte needs to get to the postseason? I feel like trading your star LaMelo Ball really doesn't help at all. So in the end, I don't understand Charlotte's point of view. Now, as for the Minnesota Timberwolves, oh man, they're going to be scary next season. LaMelo Ball, now Josh Green is a nice guard depth piece for the Wolves, but mainly for LaMelo Ball, I think LaMelo Ball, I'm very curious because I think him and Anthony Edwards on the back court is going to look really scary. And honestly, I think he's really going to pan out for the Minnesota Timberwolves because, man, that is just crazy. All right, next up, the Detroit Pistons have acquired shooting guard Isaiah Joe from the Oklahoma City Thunder in exchange for 2 second-round picks. Now, Joe is actually a really good shooter. And he was shooting a lot better in over the past 3 seasons. And the Detroit needs another stellar player, and I think Isaiah Joe will help be part of the Pistons piece to get them to the postseason. Now, as for the Thunder, another depth piece gone, but honestly, it was more of a crunch cap kind of move, and OKC, they got some more draft picks in return, so kind of a cap dump, but we'll see how the Thunder will do now without him. Now for the next trade, the next big trade actually, the Phoenix Suns have acquired Miles Bridges from the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for a 2029 first-round pick, a 2027 second-round pick. Oh, no, they've acquired those. No, sorry. Next one, Miles Bridges has been traded from the Charlotte Hornets to the Phoenix Suns. So the Suns acquire him along with a 2029 first-round pick, 2027 second-round pick from Charlotte in exchange for shooting guard Grayson Allen and for Royce O'Neal and a 2033 first-round pick. So Bridges, who averaged 20 points per game in 3 of his last 4 seasons, while he did put up just barely above 17 points per game this season, I think Bridges will be a nice piece for the Suns. Although the Suns, what they need to focus on is team identity because, like the Bucks that I talked about earlier, they're another team that's just been stuck in mediocre. And adding Bridges will be a nice piece, but is it going to get them over the hump? I don't think so. And like I said with the LaMelo Ball trade, I'm having a hard time understanding Charlotte's thought process. Are they heading to another rebuild? I hope not. It would stink, but Grayson Allen, he's an okay player. Wasn't really what he once was with the Milwaukee Bucks. And Royce O'Neal, gotta be honest, I don't really know too much about other than I hope he pans out for Charlotte. But at the end, Bridges, when healthy, I think he'll do well for the Phoenix Suns. So, and we got one more trade to actually talk about that actually just came out not really long ago, but earlier today. Ja Morant, the Memphis Grizzlies traded Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers in exchange for 4 Jamari Grant and 4 Chris Murray. What? I mean, are you serious? First of all, Ja Morant, when healthy, is a star. Sure, he's had off-the-court issues, but man, my first initial thought is that's just insane. And at the end of the day, we'll see how he does with Portland. I don't know. Portland, they're going to be an interesting team. But as for Memphis, Jamari Grant, Chris Murray, I mean, good for them that they're going to get nice pieces in return. And I think they'll both help out Memphis a bit this season, but I don't think both teams will be a postseason team. So Wow, I am honestly mind blown. But he does join Damian Lillard and Jrue Holiday. Now, that's just crazy. Always let me know your thoughts and opinions on Twitter at Billman Sports, Instagram at Billman Sports Guy, and here on YouTube at Billman Sports Guy. All right, let's actually go talk about another trade really quick that I forgot about, so that's my bad. The Atlanta Hawks have acquired Devin Carter from the Sacramento Kings in exchange for a future second-round pick. Now, it seems like, this tells me a change in new scenery. Devin Carter has been struggling with the Sacramento Kings, and it looks like they kind of just tossed the towel. So, honestly, I hope he does really well in Atlanta. Then, as for Sacramento, at least they get good draft picks in return, but we'll see what moves they all make. Now let's go to some of the free agency signings, because, man, some of the signings are very, very interesting to say the least. Let's go with the first one. Austin Reeves re-signs with the Los Angeles Lakers on a 4-year, $185 million max contract. Austin Reeves has quietly been becoming a very solid, good basketball player for the Los Angeles Lakers, and I can't really complain too much about this contract. Now, along with Luka Doncic, the Lakers need to build around him and LeBron James, assuming if they're going to re-sign LeBron, which that'll be the question. Will LA offer LeBron another contract? But so far, they got Austin Reeves locked down, and to be honest, Reeves has just been a really solid player, and I've been impressed a bit with his offensive play, and he's a fine defender. So honestly, I don't mind this contract at all for the Los Angeles Lakers. I really have no issues with it. Our next one, Al Horford, is still going to stick around on a 2-year, $14 million contract with the Golden State Warriors. So a fun fact, he's actually going to be the oldest NBA player, and he's also heading to his 20th season. And honestly, he's actually done pretty solid for a center like him, averaging over 8 points per game, under 5 rebounds per game, but still, he's just still a really solid center, and I got no problem with. I don't know about the 2-year length, but the $14 million, not a bad move at all. Coby White is going to stay with the Charlotte Hornets on a 3-year, $74 million contract extension, and to be honest, Coby White, when healthy, did pretty well with Charlotte and Chicago before Chicago traded him at the deadline. And nothing wrong with that. I think Coby White actually did pretty solid with the Charlotte Hornets, even after getting acquired. And to be fair, at least Charlotte gets to keep another player. So good for them on that end. Now let's go to another signing, which is actually a bit of an interesting one. The New York Knicks have re-signed Landry Shamet. It is a 4-year, $24 million contract. So the Knicks just won the NBA champion, and to be honest, it sounds like that they're just going to do everything they can to get the band back together. So I think them re-signing Shamet, who also played really solid in the postseason, I got no problem with it. Very fine move. 2 signings that actually just happened. The first one being the San Antonio Spurs have re-signed Julian Champagne. I hope I said it right. I apologize if I didn't. It is a 3-year, $45 million contract. And to be honest, the Spurs, they were going to do everything they can to re-sign Shamet, and he's been a big piece on this team and averaged over 11 points in the regular season, but in the postseason did fine. So not a bad contract at all. Kristaps Porzingis is staying with Golden State on a 2-year, $40 million deal. Porzingis, when healthy, really dominant. He was healthy at times with Boston, even during their championship run. And wherever he's gone, he's actually been a really solid player. And to be honest, he played a bit with the Atlanta Hawks and the Golden State Warriors. But to be honest, I think he brings what Golden State wants in order to bring Steph Curry another championship. Yeah, he averaged 16.7 points per game, 5.2 rebounds per game, 1.2 blocks per game. And to be honest, Porzingis, this is a pretty good steal by the Warriors. I was actually impressed with their signing. And Andrew Wiggins staying with the Miami Heat on a 3-year, $64 million contract. Honestly, Wiggins is a fine player, and with they also did get Giannis Antetokounmpo as well. The Heat, they're going to be another team to watch in the offseason. And then one more re-signing to talk about. Jose Alvarado is going to stay with the New York Knicks. It's a 3-year contract worth roughly $14 million, and the Knicks who acquired Alvarado from the Pelicans this past season. Honestly, he was another big piece in the New York Knicks, bringing them their first championship since 1973. So, makes sense for the New York Knicks. And to be fair, this concludes today's episode of Bill Man the Sport Guys podcast. I am your host, Bill Man the Sports Guy. Stay tuned for episode 269, where I will cover the NHL news of trades, signings, and draft recap. Peace.